Hey y'all, I have 6 very important tips on how to self-tape your audition. I hope they will be helpful, so let's get started. So the first thing, and I think it's probably the most important thing that you want to have when you are self-taping, is your equipment. What type of equipment will you need? Well, of course you're going to need a camera. What kind of camera? Well, it depends. I mean, you can use your phone. You can use another type of camera, or you can use a heavy-duty camera. Like right now I'm filming on a T3i, but I have done auditions where I've used my cell phone to record and submit the auditions because they needed it right away, and I was either at work or I just had to get it done. So that is very, very, very important, because you know, how else are they going to see you? What also falls into the equipment is lighting, because they need to see your face. Try to get, if you can get natural daylight, that's probably the best, but there is artificial lighting that can mimic daylight. I own a ring light, and I use that a lot of the times if I don't have natural daylight, or I just don't like the way daylight is hitting my face, because you want to make sure your face is illuminated. The casting directors need to see your face. And they need to see how you look on camera. Clearly, that's a very important part of the whole auditioning process. So if they can see your face, then you're on to a good start as well. And then the final thing underneath the whole umbrella of equipment is audio. Can they hear you when you speak? Now, you don't want to audition and whisper and, you know, they can hear you. No, you have to speak so that they can hear you. You have to enunciate, and you have to project into the camera. You don't have to use fancy equipment for audio. I've never used any fancy equipment for audio. I have a separate microphone, but I don't use it because it's cumbersome sometimes, especially when you just want to get your auditions out. No, you don't want to send out crappy footage, but sometimes doing all the extra connecting the audio to the camera and then making sure that your audio matches up with the moving picture, that can become cumbersome, and then it can take in more time than you actually need to put forward into your self-tape audition. So the first 3 things that you need fall under equipment. You need a camera, you need lighting, and you need audio. All those things would allow the casting director or directors to hear you, see you, and actually, you know, cast you somehow by having a visual of you in front of them. The second thing, separate from equipment, that I think you need, and that's important when you are self-taping, is have you looked at the script? I think that's important. Sometimes we just get in front of the camera and we start reading, you know, nerves get the best of us, and we're just like, I need to get through it, I need to get through it fast. Whoa, slow down, read the script, read it again, and now you don't have to be off. What does off book mean? Memorize completely. Now you don't need to do that when you're auditioning. I've taken several workshops with casting directors and agents, and they all have said pretty much that directors want to know that you are directable. So if they feel like you have the script memorized too well, then the way that you're presenting it is the way that you're going to give it on camera. And they want to make sure that, you know, you can give different variations. So sometimes when we're stuck in the way we memorize the script, then that's probably the way and only way we're going to actually deliver the presentation. So you don't want to be off book completely, but you want to at least know the first line, start off strong, and at the last line. Third thing that you should probably do when you're self-taping is, what are you gonna wear? Well, I wouldn't wear this. It's distracting. You don't want to wear distracting colors. Distracting colors takes away from this here, your face. You want the casting directors to see you and not this bright, loud yellow shirt. You want to stay away from, you know, black and white, because it might be too monotone, and black is more for models, and so you don't want to fall in that. And I've read also that it looks like a floating head. So I like to use single colors that's pastel. If I'm wearing a shirt that covers my neck or something like that. So I'll use like a blue, a light blue. I'll stay away from greens. Yeah, I like light blue. Blue is a color of optimism. So I prefer light blue if I'm going to audition and I'm going to self-tape. I have done some other colors and I'll probably insert it in here. But it was sleeveless where you can mostly see my skin, so it's not actually distracting. But if you're wearing a full shirt, arms covered, neck covered, you want to stay away from distracting busy colors. And distracting busy colors include plaid, stripes, you know the deal. The fourth thing you need when you are self-taping your audition is your background. Now, what do you need for your background? I always use my white wall. Your background should be clutter-free, clean, and have no distractions. The point of your self-tape audition, or the point of any audition you perform, is so that the casting director can see you, so they can recognize your talent. So I say keep it very simple and don't have a beautiful background like I have currently, and just use a plain, simple background. The less distractions, the more likely they are to see you. Fifth item I think you need when you're self-taping your audition is, where am I gonna look when I'm talking? Am I looking directly at the camera and I might just continue talking to the camera and I never look away? Or do I look off to the side and I talk and I have my dialogue with the person off to the side? Well, it all depends. Some casting directors, when you're actually in the room with them, they do not want you to make eye contact with them. They can be weird like that sometimes. Others, they're friendly. You can use them as your person of attention that you're talking to, or they want you to just pick a spot on the wall and talk to the wall as if that's the person that you will be addressing. So what do I suggest? Well, it depends. If you're reading a monologue, I find that it's good to address the camera. And I think it's good to address the camera because the casting directors can see the intensity in your face and they can see the intensity and the emotions in your eyes. So if your eyes are directly at the camera and you're talking to the camera as if it's the person you want to see you, then you'll bring that type of life to the audition. Now, if you have a reader with you, someone who's off camera, and sometimes that's helpful as well, you can talk to the person as long as they're directly behind the camera. You don't want to be over here. Well, the casting director can't see your face and it defeats the purpose of your audition. So you can look off to the side, speak to the person, and the casting director can still get the idea of what you look like and sound like and how you perform when you are on camera. Because let's be honest, a lot of the times when you're casting for something for on camera, you're not going to break the fourth wall, which is talking to the audience, so they're going to want to see you off camera. I mean, looking kind of off camera like I'm doing right now. Can you tell? Yeah. So when you're going to self-tape, pick what works for you. And of course, since you're self-taping, you can do a test run and you can see which one works best, and you can have more than one take. That's the beauty of having self-tape. The sixth and final step that I think is important when you are self-taping your audition is the practice. Once you have the first 5 steps down, sit down in front of your camera, make sure your light is set, and get ready to practice. I wouldn't say submit your first self-tape audition. No, probably not a good idea unless unless you're Denzel. Sure, why not? But for the rest of us mere mortals, practice 1 to 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, however many times, and how much time you do have to practice before you submit your audition tape. You want to make sure that the footage that you're submitting is footage that's going to present you in your best light. So practice before you submit, and you can even ask friends and family to give it a once over and tell you if you did a good job. Well, I hope those tips were helpful to you in your auditioning process. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and if these tips have been helpful, please like this video. Like it if you want to see more videos. subscribe, rate, comment. Let me know how it goes for you. Alright guys, thanks for watching.